seems. Alright, some non-PvZ. I'm not gonna lie, a little bit excited about some non-PvZ, just for the fact that the last couple of games were a little long, and you guys know how it is. Top left-hand side, our red pro display from Sidestorm Gaming is MaxPax, taking on the blue Terran player. In the bottom right-hand corner, it is Cure. Hey, Claybones, thank you so much for the 20-month resub on the Prime and the kind words. Much appreciated as we get ourselves into game 1 of this series. So MaxPax now 1-1 in the group. Cure, he is 1-0. MaxPax is going to open with some proxy gateway action, so getting that up and running. Let's see that probe come up. Going to go nibbling on the SCV. It's going to try and be a little bit annoying. Now, Kira actually goes across the map and engineering bay blocks, but what he doesn't do is move up to the high ground to see what exactly is happening. So, yeah, just doesn't actually know about the lack of a gateway just right away. Which obviously makes it a little bit weird, a little bit wonky. At the end of the day, he still didn't move up there. So now you're going to have this first Zealot showing up. That's going to be annoying. I mean, you're not really making too much prep. I mean, the good news is you didn't expand super quickly, obviously. So that at least is good going. That at least is something you can look at here. We're going to gas steal, though. So you're now playing a 1 base with a gas steal. This is getting very interesting, in fact. As we... I mean, you're gonna have 2 Zealots to try and burst through. I saw a game recently where MaxPax did this, or someone did this, and the 2 Zealots actually managed to kill the depot, and they were able to break into the main. I think it more or less just ended the game at the end of the day, honestly, and it kind of should, I suppose, if the 2 Zealots are able to break through into your main base and past your Sim City right away. One Marine's gonna go chipping away at the assimilator, so assimilator taking damage over time, and here come our 2 Zealots. So this is the first time that Cure really knows about this. He had no idea before now, as he's proxied to starport across the map to try and deal some damage. As the SCV's pulling, obviously the Stalker here can chip away at the SCVs pulled to the wall off. Hasn't killed anything yet. The 2 Hellions will sit from afar and try and fight back and deal with this, as obviously they can hit the Zealots from quite far away, so they can stay a little bit safer, I suppose. That Stalker's still taking a bit of damage. Is going to end up being pushed back down to the low ground, so that will be that for the moment. This one Marine still picking away the assimilator. Obviously, at least Medevac and Hellions don't take a lot of gas, so that's the good news, that it doesn't slow down. Or maybe Q's choice here was kind of based around exactly that, the idea of, oh hey, look, I can see what's going on, I can see what's being built, etc, etc, etc. Just don't really... I don't have the gas to maybe actually go into anything other than this, so that will hence be my decision. Starboard actually building a tech lab on the top side, though, so it wasn't a medevac. I really thought it was going to be a medevac and obviously just a Hellion drop, but actually going to turn this into, what, cloaked Banshees, or just a lone Banshee? Oh, it gets seen by the probe. Well, Kira just says, screw this then, let's just go, and just lifts up and goes for it. I mean, now this starport build across the map didn't build anything at all. Now I feel as though Q is in a bit of a weird place where he didn't actually deal damage when he was kind of meant to deal damage. You know, I mean, this is kind of wild. It's kind of a little bit crazy, honestly. And you see the units lost tab. 2 Zealots went down in a Hellion, and 1 probe and 1 SCV, so not a lot, really. I can't believe this starport hasn't done anything. Now building a medevac, but that's going to be a very late Hellion drop. But sometimes the things that don't make as much sense are the things that can do the most damage, because obviously your opponent may not play for the super delayed medevac dropping the Hellions. So we will see. It's going to be seen our observer hanging around with a couple Stalkers. The Stalkers at the front, thinking about moving forward. That wouldn't mind obviously going to keep them zoned out. Small Prism going to be finishing. Just going to be seeing another Adept coming through, and these couple Stalkers pinging a little bit. There's obviously, again, this going to get a little bit weird. Marines come through and actually going to pick off this pylon. So that goes that gateway, and Stalkers actually trying to come through here to fight this as well. Put the boost away, not really much will come of that. And Starport will now build in the corner with a reactor coming up. Attack sieging, Marines will unload. Just going to be seeing our home server backing up a little bit. Here comes that Prism. Now, we do have ourselves no blink or anything. It's just 4 Stalkers that are trying to deal damage, and Medivac just boosted out past this, so these Marines might struggle to get back in. Sorry, it's 3 Stalkers and an Adept, not the 4 Stalkers. They will come through, and obviously 3 Stalkers don't one-shot the SCV, but 3 Stalkers and an Adept will. Just their attacks kind of fire at different speeds, so it gets a little awkward trying to line them up and try and just go from one worker to the next. Still not bad to grab a few SCV kills here and just slow Kira down wherever possible. In the end, Kira never really went across the map with the Medivac, just reloaded it up now. It's going to now start sending it across to the other side. There's a couple of Marines taking some damage as we do see our barracks still building up from Kira in the main base, just bringing all of that together. There is the Medivac getting up to the top. Probably thinking about an unloading toward the main base, I'm assuming. Maybe, possibly. This pylon is going to go down. So pylon gets killed off. That is a supply block for MaxPax. Now these Stalkers actually going for the Medivac. Doesn't get it, but oh, I thought maybe when it came back in he would have gotten it. You can see that it's scared to go and properly save the Marines. Trying to stay in range to do some healing though. As this trade out goes okay, there are still some units over here, remember, to maybe keep in mind as Blink is done, but he doesn't have a Blink to go forward and grab the Medivac with, unfortunately, so that could have maybe been a cool play if it had been a thing. One Adept just trying to lead the charge, as we do see with a couple of tanks coming out. We do have a Stimpack, our 1-1 upgrades, all of that continuing to build. There's that tech up as well, moving into that Colossus production. So, Colossus on the way through, and obviously with Colossi out, you have that splash damage on your side as MaxPax, so then maybe you can fight some of these larger battles. Of course, Kira well set up. I like the tanks. I think they can do a lot against Colossi. They can zone them very well. You can hit them from afar. Obviously, the Raven can be a game changer. So there is a lot of different utility in the army of Kira right now. Who's the pile and power in this gateway? We do see Prism into the main. Oh my god, one Marine was stood on top of the Widow Mine. It was the perfect bait, and it actually was able to finish off the Prism. Well, that was just a beautiful play from Kira. It's just one of those things where MaxPax was not ready for it. There's a few SCVs still going down. The Stalker puts in some work. 5 kills on the SCVs. Not bad as this Stalker goes down as well. I was probably thinking of blinking back after picking up info, but unfortunately, blinking back does not work there. Didn't quite come through. As unfortunate as that may be. We still have our Dark Shrine just building from MaxPax, so keeping that Dark Shrine on the way through as well. Our +1 attack upgrade. Continue to build, and now we see a few additional Zealots continue to warp in too. Stalker's not going to have a good time. First one gets blasted immediately. Just going to see those few Zealots going to charge down the ramp and clean up a couple of Marines. So, able to clean up. Able to do alright there. Ghost Academy is on the way up, so going to get ourselves set for some Ghost production. As it looks as though Q is ready to dance the late game a little bit here with MaxPax. So, setting up for that. Do you see these few Stalkers of MaxPax moving down to the south side? And we'll see what direction they try and move in from. And that medevac just chilling up to the top. Stalker's putting some damage in. Gonna think about... I was gonna say, maybe do they have high ground vision to blink into the main, but no, they were just going forward for an SCV kill on that mineral line, so not gonna be any blink ups to the main or anything as wild as that. I mean, it's romanticized. You're not meant to be able to attack into these kind of positions. Kira has a lot of siege tanks set up. This is meant to be a very defendable 3, even 4 base setup. And so far it is exactly that, with the tanks here even more so. We're going to build a bunker on this base, obviously thinking about moving out towards a 4th, so wants a little bit of defense left behind on the 3rd, if possible. I've seen plenty of times where a bunker has made a world of difference. Dark Colossus is starting to move down the bottom side. See those couple of ghosts coming up. Our hand shockwave upgrade starting. Of course, MaxPax is attacking too, with Disruptors coming through in the Shadow Stride for the Dark Templar. We saw how annoying MaxPax could be with DTs in later game PvT when he was playing against Gumiho in one of the earlier series. Actually brought out a lot of cool DT stuff there to really sway that series into his favor. You just have a couple tanks still parked up on that 3rd base, and it looks like that's where MaxPax is going to end up attacking. Zealot Stalker moving through the bottom side of the map. Can we go? Nope, gonna get turned around actually. Last few DTs. For a moment, we're trying to think about maybe jumping onto an orbital or so as well, but not quite going to happen just yet. As you see our Disruptors continue to have a bit of a move around. Now we do have the Ghosts coming up, racks, command centers, all of that continuing through. And with the extra Ghost Academies coming up, we are going to be going into some nuke action. So getting ready for a little bit of nuking. As Kyo just plays a super slow game, so he really is just happy to play late game here. And he just in case we've not seen enough late game already today, guys, alright, just in case we need a little bit more like 20-30 minute gameplay. There you go, the Zealot Stalker Disruptor. Thinking about fighting, but again, I just don't really see what you fight, what fight you're looking to really pick here. Like, I don't think these fights are good for you. If the Disruptor's gonna fire from afar, maybe chip away, you're not sure, but anything else, you're fighting into all of those tanks. It just doesn't really make sense. Hallucination's like, wait, how much is he? Oh, you're super defended. And yet he still sets up to move in. Really? Oh no, you look at the EMP, look at those tank shots. The entire shields across the board of that Protoss army are just gone. Disruptor's too far away from that siege tank as well, so missing that attack. Plus, are able to at least keep position. So MaxPax just sat here. I mean, he's got Q on 4 bases while MaxPax is just mass expanding. He is going to, seven bases right now. MaxPax more like Mass X-Pax or something, because, yeah, expansions are going crazy from him. Just non-stop Nexus after Nexus after Nexus. A couple of Robos coming through, a couple of Mortals coming through on the Robos. We are going to be seeing us a bit of a change of pace in here, and that's a Ghost going down. Nice catch for the Disruptor. I do get a little bit afraid every time MaxPax is kind of sat on the edge here dealing some damage. I'm like, careful though. Genuinely worried it's all gonna go wrong. Even helps provide a little bit of scare factor on the left side. These tanks do deliver some shots. MaxPax, like I say, that's what I mean why he's scaring me a little bit, because it's like it's so close to everything just going so wrong over here. Gotta be really careful about that. Fucking doing alright as an anti-arm missile's gonna refresh up onto this base. Just keeping that onto that base, onto this army. It's giving the army kind of in a bit of a position where I shouldn't really be looking to fight. I mean, EMPs are off as well. There's no shield on the Colossi. And I don't think there should really be a... Yeah, I mean, MaxPax to me is putting himself in a hell of a corner. What if he just came in from the left-hand side? Right, like what if he just came in from the left as the Terran player and just jumped on MaxPax here? And try and defend you with the disruptors or so through the choke point? Well, probably, I mean, basically what he's going to do now, from an additional angle where you actually have a wider opening. Yeah, take that. Some nukes coming down. He just recalled to this base where the nuke's coming in. Okay, well, that was a little bit scary. Disruptor shot hits his own Colossus. Nuke will land. Next nuke is going to land as well. Probes have not pulled away, and there is... Okay, that wasn't the full mineral line, unfortunately, but that was still a good few probes going down. One more nuke here. Mostly hitting sack defense, just hitting whatever he can reach. First round of nukes actually did decently. I thought he was really going to stand in one of those for a moment or two, and then obviously he attacked his own... he missed the ghost with the disruptor. He hit the Colossus instead. I was like, oh no, this really could hit badly. Anti-armor missile will go down. Again, every time there's an anti-armor missile, I get worried that this army is just not going to survive a fight if it breaks out. We're nuking the 12 o'clock base while we push into the 9 o'clock base. Feels like Kira's getting a little bit of the better end of this late game. Feels like MaxPax doesn't quite have, well, anything to really help. There's the DTs, though. I mean, the DTs to me are the one thing that may be super scary here. And as they blink in, they do bring a lot of the Terran down with them. And the supplies do even out somewhat, so credit to MaxPax. He finds the fight he needs to turn this around, if just ever so slightly. Another nuke to the top of the map as we are just nuking here, there, and freaking everywhere at the moment. This nuke will land, and doesn't do much. The ghost moving up to the top, and that is going to be another nuke landing on up. I mean, that's just going to be the continuation at this point. There's just going to be a constant stream of nukes in this game. Not too surprising, I suppose. A nuke will land again. A couple more nukes still coming up. Immortal production continuing. Interesting that MaxPax wants to go for so many Immortals. Maybe because there's so many tanks and also quite a few Marauders. Immortals can trade well there if they survive long enough. I mean, obviously EMPs take away a lot of the bulkiness of an Immortal, so that's definitely stuff to be worried about. Is these tanks kind of blinked on. Oh, that's nice because you just kill 4 tanks right away, and the DTs actually mostly get out alive. Maybe 1 or 2 went down, if that. Yep, nukes are still just landing everywhere. That one ghost on the left side is just rallying nukes out repeatedly, and I don't understand it. MaxPax is like just not figured out where it is yet. He's not doing anything about it. Maybe he just missed this one. I think he did. Probes don't respond, and 6 of them will go down as nukes. Very powerful when you get the chance. There's one Raven as well overhead, just making it a little bit tough for these DTs to maybe fully commit in, as they would have initially liked to. MaxPax wants to push down to the bottom side. I mean, here again, just another nuke in the exact same place as before, man. I mean, MaxPax is just not figuring this out. Oh, rocked up the ram sword cannon, says, nope, I'll actually just keep nuking the... Okay, now he's going to nuke the new cannon. An observer shows up, and he is finally going to get rid of this ghost. I mean, that ghost dropped so many nukes. That's really ridiculous. Another ghost coming around the bottom corner. Just gonna again try and find damage, right? Just kind of setting up all over the place. More and more nukes still coming through. We are gonna see a fight breaking out on the bottom side. MaxPax is gonna try and commit into this. Does not really work out, right? I mean, that's the problem. It's Ramanda's side. It's not a map where you're meant to be able to attack in super easily, honestly. This is not a map that was kind of built for that in the slightest, as we are going to be seeing a few DTs sneaking back away out the left. The missile turret will go down. EMP is across the Immortals, and the Immortals take a bit of fire right there as well, so they don't have as good of a time as maybe they were wanting. Another round of nukes just finished up, guys. I'm going to queue one up on the left side, in the bottom left corner as well. Away they fly. One on the top of the map, too. Just to go super crazy. and really just again have them landing everywhere. Here comes number 1. Probes pull away. Here comes number 2 in the bottom. That one lands, doesn't connect on much, but the bio army simming over there. On the top side, it was actually just clearing out the cannon initially, as this base does fall down. So I gotta say, MaxPax, remember, Mass expanded at one point, and he just, from there, Q said, okay, that's fine. I'm gonna slowly take my bases, and you've never been able to attack into me. And I've been able to create a lot of chaos on your side of the map as well. And because he played so defensively at first, it gave him the chance to get up to the ghosts and all these ghost academies and nukes. And like I say, he's been able to do very well with that from that so far. I like that Kia's sending out a couple drops as well. I mean, these are the kind of things that are just keeping MaxPax pinned back, nuke lands, and again, hurting this rebuilding base. Again, right now, it feels as though nothing is simple, I'd imagine. PvT's thinking about moving in there. Wouldn't mind was setting up a little bit as well. We are going to see an anti-armor missile across the Colossi. So they're going to get caught up a little bit. How many nukes we had this game? Has someone been counting? It's been kind of crazy. We are going to see this fight breaking out. There's so many tanks. There's just no way. No, this was not it for MaxPax. I think like MaxPax got impatient at the end here. And he's like, God damn, I need to fight back, but not happening. 15 probes went down because this nuke landed as well during the fight. Not gonna lie, guys, a little bit brutal across the board as Kira has just been absolutely monster moding his way through this game, just in general. He's been doing a really, really good job. Like, it's been like I say, it's been like one of those games where he chose to play slow, and a lot of the time when you do that against a Protoss player, it's very scary, but he's been in full control. There's not been a single fight that I've honestly seen from MaxPax where I was like, oh yeah, this is the one. That was a bit of a trade out where Kira lost a lot, but he's just got the bases to bounce back up. I don't know. It just feels like Kira's had, like I say, good control of this. Resources lost 14k difference, so yeah, he's definitely found decent enough trades along the way. Some nukes are probably going to get cancelled. These ghosts should go down at some point, right? We're going to kill these ghosts? Nope, the nukes will land. Obviously, the Protoss army was past it. Does actually break through on the bottom side here. Another nuke up here. I mean, talking about another 11 probes having gone down. It's going to be seeing still this remnants of the army of MaxPax. Can't really do much else. Kira rebuilding. MaxPax doesn't have the money to rebuild super quickly, at least. Obviously, Kira spent a lot of money on nukes at this stage as well, though. So, a lot of nukes that haven't really... a lot of them have been good, and the pressure's been good, but it's a cost that you've got to remember, too. These are expensive, and you do have to rebuild them every single time you use one boom. That's it, 100, and you've got to build another one. Gonna line up a nuke on the left-hand side. Bio gonna step up this ramp. Probes are going down. The cannons are in some trouble. Here comes this nuke. Boom! Another probe line. How many workers are dead this game? You guys want to take a guess? Maybe like 77. Why not? All the 7s for me. Let's have a look. Oh, a clean 100. Jeez. He is killing 4 probes per minute right now throughout this. This base bottom left's probably going to go down. I actually don't think I've seen someone be so dominated simply by nukes. It feels like nukes have just been the entirety of the game plan for the last 10 minutes of Kira, and MaxPax has thoroughly struggled with them. I mean, maybe that's just the idea of once momentum is in one player's side, it's so hard to break that momentum. So once once multiple nukes are dropping, if they keep going, it's so hard to move around, clean up those ghosts, and stop them from nuking again, especially when there's so many happening at once. Like, if there was just one nuke at a time every time, I think MaxPax is obviously in a much more comfortable spot, but again, that's obviously not what this is, and that is why. That's why the power of this is in being able to send out all of the nukes. All of the nukes, do. New turrets and tanks are building up here. And tanks, especially from Kira, I think Really important to solidify the game. It's just going to be seen how Zealot's going to start running through. Moles want to try and get on top of this, but none of that going to happen. Moles able to push out of that, and just going to see the Zealot Dark Templar making their way down to the bottom too. Just going to jump in on this. Just going to go through, and a couple of tanks already being picked away at. Just the Bio Army coming through. Just going to be seeing the push to the bottom left happening again. And obviously wants to deny this space. It's the one base that Kira doesn't have of his own. Right, he doesn't have the top right-hand side, so it's the one base he's really wanted to make sure it doesn't properly get online here. As what you have guessed it, another nuke is lined up over there, and that time the Ghost is going to go down though, so the nuke will not land. But MaxPax at 112 supply is obviously not having the greatest time at the moment, is struggling to try and stay in the game wherever possible. A chunk of mules just dropped down on the far right, so they are going to get active and just going to be seeing the... Well, again, Zealots and Immortals still building up here as well. A couple of tanks putting some damage in. This will go down. As we have past the 26-minute mark here, we are again on a ridiculous nuke count at this stage. And at this point, I mean, what do you really do as MaxPax? I mean, if you've never gotten control of the nukes, are you ever going to get control of the nukes? Like, I really don't think you are. You're going to lose this base. That's obviously expensive as well. I mean, like I say, it's like, what does MaxPax change? Well, I think you just need to start dealing with the nukes better, because the nukes are the straight-up thing that's making you run around silly, and then, like I say, maybe made him lose his patience a little bit too soon and pick some fights that he probably knows aren't good fights, but then what else is he doing? Oh, this Bioforce is going to shred these Zealots. Why do these Zealots not have anything but +1 armor? I feel like that's another way in which maybe MaxPax just got caught up all game long. 27 probes have died as nukes have kept on landing. This is not even funny. MaxPax is going to GG out as nukes are just falling on his bases. It was just raining nukes all game long here on Romanticide as Cure will go up 1-0. This set of players, I'd be more surprised if it happened in another group, I suppose. Like I say, I almost predicted. I didn't actually think it'd be this crazy, but it's been a lot of fun so far. As in the bottom left-hand side, we're going to have our red Terran player up 1-0. It is Cure. Taking on the blue Protoss in the top right corner of the map, MaxPax. Can he bounce back and take us to Game 3? Have we gone to Game 3 every game today, guys? That's something which I want to check on quickly, actually. I think so, right? Cure... Gumiho, yep, everything's been 3 maps so far. So this one... Let's see if it's going to keep up the trend. Let's see if it's going to be the same as all the others. Let's see how this plays out. MaxPax is going to wake up in a cold sweat later, screaming about nukes everywhere. I know. Honestly, it's like one of those things that's like, it just non-stop, right? Like, once it started, it just never, ever ended. Really, really crazy. Just going to see this gateway coming up in the main base here. I'm just going to be having the engineering bay coming up on the natural expansion right now. So getting that up and running. Just blocking this natural a little bit. It's obviously Beckett, which is a weird map to let through into a best-of-3 series. It's typically just a good map for Terran across the board. Short rush distances for the tank pushers. And all of that sort of stuff. So is something to worry about maybe for MaxPax later. I like that you engineering bay block, because I feel like going factory before you go expanding is only just going to be smart here. Because it is a short map, which means adepts will come across quickly too, so it's just better to defend one base initially than it is to try and defend the low ground. Looks like Kyo's ready to build a starport, by the way. Last game he built the starport, built the tech lab, and nothing ever came of it, right? And then it turned into that super campy turtle game, right? Nothing happened for a long time. At least initially. MaxPax moved out and kind of took some positions, but you couldn't really commit to any fights. So I'm kind of interested. Obviously, we do actually go starport this time around, and it looks as though we probably will just set up into the proper Hellion drop. So maybe what Kira was planning last time that he never got to execute properly, I'm gonna bring it in this time around and maybe able to do something a little bit better. Is just gonna be seeing a couple of Hellions chasing down this Stalker, and a Stalker, one of these weird things, right, where Hellions don't meant to win against Stalkers, but you know, in a weird scenario, you actually can do very well with it. He's actually going to really hard commit for this Stalker. Gets it, but it's going to cost him 2 Hellions, which means that you are not going to have as many units for the drop unless you wait for the next 2 Hellions. But is that worth it? To delay your entire drop, but to obviously have 1 less Stalker defending against you? I don't think that's worth it. I don't think that's a good trade. I think that's actually pretty bad for Kier, because he could already be into the main base. Like, he could be flying into the main base, like, now. With 4 Hellions. There's nothing here. Maybe there'd be an extra, you know what I mean? Like, but then again, maybe MaxPax is on the map because he's also thinking, well, you know what? You're not in the main base because you've obviously lost those Hellions, so maybe I don't need to go back to defense. So that's another point of view to look at there. The empty medevac boosts in. Man, it's such a... I mean, it's the second game in the row where the proxied starport is going to do absolutely naff all. It really did nothing at all last game as well, honestly. Kind of a weird little situation. Alien's still moving around. Hey, what's up, Shuffseckle? Thank you so much for the 17-month resub. Yeah, the empty medevac flies in the main, sits overhead, and nobody does anything, and everyone's just like, oh, that's an empty medevac. And my kid's like, yeah, it's an empty medevac. And they just look at each other and they're like, okay. Next. 4-gate blink, the build for MaxPax. We do have the additional gateways are already on the way up, so getting that set to go. Defensively from Cure, he's got a tank very well placed, a bunker on the low ground. It's the correct setup against 4-gate blink for the moment, so it's promising for Cure to hold on against this. 4th gateway just now finishing up. The siege tank about halfway done. Secure is very close to having the double tank setup, which is obviously really nice as well. We'll not have it maybe right away, as it looks as though we are going to blink in the main. This tank in the main is very far back. It's very difficult to jump on this, in fact. If this is where MaxPax commits to, I'm actually a little bit worried, because the other tank is at low ground. And he's going to jump in. Like I say, it's just hard to reach this siege tank. He will not go for it either. He just trades with the Marines a little bit. Kira's going to hold off that first blink in with ease. Bats it away. And initially, Kira, no problems at all. He has a few additional Stalkers will warp in. They're going to look for that jump into the main base as well. So in they go. A lot of these Marines are going to take some damage. We are going to have the siege tank getting picked off. These other Stalkers being pushed back, and an auto turret going down. Now going to see the Warp Prism just getting pushed out of there as well. So Prism gets pushed back out of this. Additional Stalkers will be building. We have got MaxPax maybe with some pressure to apply at the front. He's going to blink in. He's going to get himself the siege tank as well. So siege tank will go down. This bunker will fall. Some tank is going to be coming through. Our tank is going to siege. Our Marines are going to settle here as well. Go off to the side. A bunker will build, and this Raven providing vision, but he only had 1 Marine in range of the Observer initially. So that blue Observer is actually able to sneak away from this. Wow. See if he gets picked off. The Marine Marauder wanting to come through once again. There's the Warp Prism. Back to the front as well. I'm just going to be seeing these few Stalkers putting some pressure on at least. So finally able to maybe get a bit more damage actually done here. Has been a pretty lackluster kind of set of 4-gate blinking. You get 2 tanks, you killed, I mean, you lost 11 Stalkers though, so it's not like any of this came for free. Try it out a little more. With Stim done, QA should have an easier time defending against this. I wanted to move out, maybe. Dark Shrine still coming through our tanks. One of them takes a big hit. He's going to pull back. He's going to get a couple of SCVs to go repair it. Thanks on Siege, moving back through towards the center. On the bottom side, we're already flying through here with this prism as well. High army coming through. A couple Stalkers getting pushed back, so the Stalkers are going to be chased away. We are just going to be having the Stalkers continue to fall off. So, Stalkers going down. Just going to be seeing that Colossus coming through as well. Our Marines and Marauders trying to fight this off. Interference Matrix hits the Colossus. It's a nice strike, but obviously it's more so a please don't attack me rather than oh yeah, I'm going to dive on you right now sort of thing. So, maybe not too exciting all said and done. High Army's going to end up pulling back for the moment. They're just going to chill it out. Now, he only has 2 bases for the moment. Obviously, 3rd CC is building up. That's one thing to keep in mind, is that the income graph has been... well, it's not been bad for Cure, but overall, MaxPax has been in the income lead. But like I said, I don't think that's overly... no, it's not the end of the world by any stretch of the imagination. Fire Force going to come chasing down the bottom side. Zod's a couple DTs going to be in some trouble right away as our Bio will fight, and Prism actually doing a little spiral there. Ah! What's going on? Where are we going? Tanks lining up and firing onto the Zod Stalker Force. And just going to be keeping that back. And once again, MaxPax will be in the same position he was in the last game, where he's playing against a Terran who's just going to kind of just play very passively on these bases. And in that case, I mean, if I'm MaxPax, I think the right idea is to kind of mass expand and try and take it on in that regard. So, let's see. Gravitic Drive is coming through as well. It's getting that Warp Prism Beat and the DT Blink. So once again, setting up for the later game harassment here. MaxPax doing a lot of what we saw in the last game once again. Not really surprising. It's the go-to late game PvT, right? Those blinking DTs, and obviously anything you can do to support them. Speedy Prisms will only help out. And the later a PvT goes, the more it becomes about those hit squads more so than the main army fights a lot of the time, it feels like. It's the hit squads that really do the damage and make it so you can't rebuild an army or keep an army properly set up or anything along those lines. So almost fun as a few Stalkers trying to get tanks. Uh-oh, that's a weird position. So the tanks actually got sieged up in front of all the Bio, and that meant the Bio was kind of blocked from being able to join the fight. Anti-armor missile goes down. We are going to break out into this fight fully. Zealots are streaming in. The bottom side is one out by MaxPax, but the top side absolutely is not. An Interference Matrix hits the Colossus too. All the Immortals go down, and that is a sweet cleanup for Cure. Easily moves through that army, and is going to be putting himself into a very, very decent position here. As that Bio Force still pressing on forward, so still pushing on through. I just don't think MaxPax has anything to hold with after that last fight. He actually just lost out on so much, and Kira is just going to kind of steamroll his way through this. Man, Kira is just a monster in these games. This is going to be an actual 2-0 for the first time today after some, I mean, still a lengthy series though, as Kira pushes all the way through. These Immortals are in trouble. These Zealots and Stalkers are going down. GG, says MaxPax. And Cure is going to 2-0 MaxPax. And that is a big win for Cure. So big win right there. GG's, and he 2-0s MaxPax.